when King Ndebele settled here, he made a treaty or arrangement with the Chief, my great-grandfather, that there shall not be any war between Chief's people and King Mzilikazi. Now, in doing that, then Mzilikazi asked a young child from Chief who was brought here in the house of King Mzilikazi as a little boy. That was my grandfather, Mubengo. The King Mzilikazi then changed the name of my great-grandfather, Mapanzure, to Mubengo. I think it's a Ndebele name. So he then grew up here. After King Mzilikazi died, then after King Mzilikazi died, King Ndebele also adopted my great-grandfather.
Both Mnangagwa and Chiwenga have said Mnangagwa's great-grandfather was raised within the royal court, and he fought in Katate against the whites. Do you think that is a ploy of further distorting the Ndebele history, or what?
That is a huge distortion of our history.
Greetings, and more greetings to you, good people. My name is DJ Holly, and welcome to Point 5 Creative Studios. Chitubu che content, chitubu chisingapwe, chitubu chinocherwa, chinonwiwa nemunhu wese, chitubu chakavhenekwa chikaongororwa nana mazvikokota kunzi aiwaka. Chitubu ichi chine content iri healthy yakakodzera kunge chikonsumwa nemunhu akaita kunge iwewe. Ndosaka uri panapa muzuva ranhasi. So if it's your first time here, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any exciting content uploaded. Yes, mawani nyaya dzacho padzazosvika manje ndo pasina kumira musha. Pakashata panapa ndine nyaya yandauya nayo. Pane clip rakatenderera last week, President Emerson Mnangagwa vachitaura ivo kuti vane midzi, vane dzinza riri linked to Mzilikazi. Our fellow Ndebele brothers, they didn't take it lightly. Avaskufara mawan. So panapa ndine video clip and ndakuratidzai. Chatanga ndakuratidzai the clip rapresident vachitaura kuti ivo zvakazotanga kuna ningi mva zvadai vachitsanangura. Ndozopinda muclip ra Chief Ndiweni. I don't know if I pronounce it right. Ndiregerere, forgive me. Chief Ndiweni vachitaurawo his side of the story. Vane mashoko akawanda vataura. Andisuda kupedza nguva ndichitaura yayo mashoko yadangoti tizongopinda muvideo clip mozvinzwira mozvionerawo mega. But before we get into this video clip, if you have any business rauri kuda kumaketerwa, ndibate namba dzangu ndodziri pasi apa nditika. If you've got any stories uri kuda kuripota, ndibate futi pasame number ipapa nditika. Let's not forget madzibaba masango ndiye munhu wacho ari kuita basa zvamanje ndiye munhu ari kufamba nebhora nditika. Central locking anoloka kana ona partner wako muchiona kuti kuvimbika kuri kunetsa, zviri nani mugara mangonoona madzibaba masango mamaita se masotwa. Kana une mweya tsvina uri kutsoma gara wanoona madzibaba masango aita se vakubatsira nditika vakugeze munyama umbochenawo zvinhu zvako zviite se zvifambe handitika. Saka rega tipinde muclip titange tanzwa mukuru kuti vaitaura kuti chii pamusoro penorondo right.
Background is that when King Ndebele settled here, he made a treaty or arrangement with the Chief Chiwi, my great-grandfather, that there shall not be any war between Chiwi's people and King Mzilikazi. Now, in doing that, then Mzilikazi asked a young child from Chief Chiwi, who was brought here in the house of King Mzilikazi as a little boy. That was my grandfather, Bubengo. The King Mzilikazi then changed the name of my great-grandfather, Mapanzure, to Mubengo. I think it's a Ndebele name. So they grew up here. After King Mzilikazi died, then after King Mzilikazi died, King Ndebele also adopted my great-grandfather as Mubengo, not as Mnangagwa. Then he grew up here. He lost his Shona language. Then after all this happened, he came back, because he was brought as a little boy, grew up here. He came back to Chiwi, but he was now speaking Ndebele, and he could understand Shona, my great-grandfather, but he could not speak our Shona. We talked to him in the 40s in Shona, but he replied in Ndebele because he was taken and he grew up in the court of the king here. That is the background of relations with my family with what happened here. He also participated here as Mubengo. But when he came back home, they changed his name to Kushanduka.
Right. Mazvinzwira mega kuti sekuru vasekuru zvichingwenda zvakadaro izvi hapadi explanation apa, mazvinzwa mega. Saka rega tichienda kuna Chief Ndiweni tinzwe kuti vari kumboti chii nehistory iyi yataurwa nemukuru handitika. Batisisai mazwi mobatisisa mashoko tione kuti aufa.
And let us be very frank. One of the reasons why Pupu occurred, one of the reasons why Gadadi occurred, one of the reasons why the Shanani engagement occurred, one of the reasons why Ilala Pansi occurred was because Wilson was using the local people around him to assist him in that way. At Gadadi, we had local Africans, over 1,000, who assisted on Gadadi. Where do they come from? We have to find that out. We have to establish that. Who were these black people who assisted? We have to find that out. I would not stop anyone to say maybe some of those who assisted were the ancestors, the forebearers of Emerson Mnangagwa, or the forebearers of Chiwenga. Who knows? We have to ask that question.
But having said that, both Mnangagwa and Chiwenga have said Mnangagwa's great-grandfather was raised within the royal court, and he fought in Katate against the whites. Do you think that is a ploy of further distorting the Ndebele history, or what?
That is a huge distortion of our history. Because whenever someone says something like that, you need to provide evidence. You need to put pen to paper. The academic scholars need to come in, look at it, verify it. More importantly, we have to start with Emerson Mnangagwa or Chiwenga and follow their gene table to say exactly, yes, are they the descendants of those individuals that fought that battle there? All of that has not been done. All we have is just talk public relations in the media. And for me, I treat that with a large pinch of salt to say that's just public relations being done. I'm a man of facts. I deal in facts. I deal in historical facts, and I don't mind. And if it should come out that, yes, indeed, they are linked to that and the facts support that. I'll be the first one to say, yes, indeed, that was correct. But to date, that is just politicking.
It's just politicking.
Right. Muri kuvanzwa Chief Ndiweni vari kutaura ivo vachitaura kuti hapana chokwadi chizere uyezve hapana umboo hunotaura kuti ana sekuru madzitateguru aPresident Emmerson Mnangagwa kana kuti ava Chiwenga they were linked to Mzilikazi and Lobengula. Muri kuzvinzwirawo ndi Chief Ndiweni vari kuda sei vari kudaro.
Yeah. In your article, you said that the ZANU-PF administration has a history of distorting the Ndebele history. Maybe if you could give us some of the examples where they've done so.
There are plenty.
ZANU-PF ine nhoroondo yekusanganisa, yekudailota, yekusvibisa, yekusabuditsa pachena the Ndebele history, kuti nhoroondo yevaNdebele yakambonyatsofamba sei, yakatangira kupi, ichienda kupi, chii zvaimbonyatsoitika, hazvisi kunyatsobuda pachena. Ndo mubvunzo wabvunzwa panapa. Saka ndikatinyatsonzwa kuti unopindurwa sei mubvunzo wakaita sei, mubvunzo wakadai so timbonzwa kuti zvakamira sei, ndepapi chaipo pawasiri kufara napo maNdebele.
Once again, I'll begin with the broad brush to say, Babakala, when you look at our curriculum for primary and secondary schools in Zimbabwe, and we look at the history that's being taught there, really to call it Ndebele history is to really laugh. It has no meaning, it has no depth towards it, it does not show any caliber that the people who put this curriculum together know what they're talking. When I was giving you and narrating the history of our place, our history, Wawankala, has got dates, times, locations, places, people. It is a proper history. And yet, since the last 43 years, that has been watered down, completely watered down. And even if we bring it up to the closer period of the Liberation War and coming up now, if a youngster now who's age 40 years of age, that individual will not fully understand the role that ZAPU and ZIPRO forces played in the liberation. These people were at the forefront. And if we look at the history and the documentation that is attached to ZAPU and ZIPRO forces, their work that they did was much more than the work that was done by ZANU and ZANLA forces. And yet nowadays, when you open any book, it is always ZANU and ZANLA forces. ZANU and ZANLA forces. Where are ZAPU and ZIPRO forces? Who are the forefront? Who are the biggest part of the liberation war that occurred? If you were to ask those who were in Ian Smith's army, the Rhodesian forces, the Surrey Scouts, all of them will say over and over again, we were afraid of ZIPRA forces. ZANLA forces, we didn't bother about them at all. And yet that history has been turned upside down with that. So we are looking at that situation of whereby that is not right. And to also show Babangala where our history has been turned upside down, we come to the issue of conferring hero status to Mchana Khumalo. The original Mchana Khumalo, not the Mchana Khumalo who is now president of the National Chiefs Council, but his ancestor. That Mchana Khumalo who was responsible for the complete wiping out of Mbizo regiment. The ZANU-PF cannot just simply confer hero status upon him in our exclusion, because we are talking about our history. We are talking about our Mchana Khumalo. Say, did he qualify as a history? Did he qualify as a history?
Anzi, tikwanisewo muzvinhu izvi. Tikwanisewo muzvinhu kana makuti iri gamba iri, especially kana vari vekusaidi kwedu kunoko, tinofanira kunge tiri involved to make that decision kuti aiwaka uyu ranga riri gamba iri, uyu ranga risiri gamba. Ndo zviri kuchemwa naChief Ndiweni panapa kuti we have to be involved panyaya idzidzi, especially kana takutaura mandebele heroes, ndebele history varoda kukwaniswa muzvino.
Me and you should be debating that issue.
Yeah.
Does he qualify to be a hero or does he not? But to add insult to injury, he is conferred a hero by the ZANU-PF administration in our absence. And to make matters worse, ZANU-PF administration is conferring hero status to Mjana Kumalo, the original, and not recognizing his superior, King Lobengula Kamzilikazi Kamashoba. You then immediately see that this is politics coming in.
Yeah.
But to add injury into even worse than that, the same ZANU-PF administration refuses to acknowledge our current monarch, who was made a monarch in September 2018 in Bulawayo, His Majesty King Bulelani Kalobhungula Kamzilikazi. He's a reigning monarch, he is there. And yet the administration refuses to acknowledge him. So you are now left with something really, for want of a better word, someone would say this comes from Ngucheni Mental Hospital. This is not right.
Yeah, he having said that, there is something that has always bothered me. Why there is no statue of King Mzilikazi or King Lobengula in Bulawayo?
And say tisinawo statue ya Lobengula, King Lobengula or King Mzilikazi kubulawayo. Yet ku Harare tina mbuya nehanda, but kubulawayo kwakaiswa Joshua Nkomo hariko, but vari kuda King Mzilikazi and Lobengula muguta bakashata mawani chaiwo.
That is the tribalism by which ZANU-PF has been operating. I say it clearly because I have so much evidence for that. And of course, I know ZANU-PF will reject that and they'll throw insults at Chief Ndweni for saying such a thing. But ZANU-PF has been operating on a tribal basis system. By rights, Lapa Babankala, if we're talking the truth, we are looking at Bulawayo. Everyone calls Bulawayo the city of kings and queens. Where are these queens? Where are these kings? When we look at the streets of Bulawayo, we should see our royalty there. We should not just sing Lobengula Street. No, that should be His Majesty King Lobengula Street. His Majesty King Mzilikazi Street. His Majesty King Mzilikazi Arcade and Shopping Center. Mzilikazi School that is there, Bulawayo, should be His Majesty King Mzilikazi School.
Yeah.
They are constantly running away from saying the word king. King. And I'm saying to them, I'm saying to ZANU-PF administration, the war of liberation was exactly about such things, our African identity. If you have kings in Harare, that is fine. Anoint them as kings, call various streets after them as kings. But in Bulawayo, we have kings. I should be able to go to Bulawayo and find a street called Queen Los K, Mbangazita Street.
Yeah.
That should be there. Why?
Right. Ndofunga mazvinzwira mega vanzwa Chief Ndiweni vachitaurawo side of the story vachitaura kuti ngatisewo ruremekedzo kunhoroondo yedu isusu mandebele, ngatisasanganisai chishona nechindebele zvekuti history yedu nhoroondo yedu isusu mandebele inosvika pakuita sei pakusazikanwa kunzi iri kufamba sei. Uyezve kana taakutumidza mazita kumigwagwa, ngatitumidzei zvizere, tiise King kuti King Lobengula Street, King Chakati Street, tonyasopa ruremekedzo. Uyezve tiri kudawo statue yaMzilikazi kana yaKing Lobengula muguta. Mazvinzwira mega, hapana chekubvisa, hapana chekuwedzera apa. So ndo video clip ranga ndangokubatirai ndikati ndingokuratidzai zviri kuitika mumastreets, zviri kupisa nditika. So as for me, DJ Holly and the rest of the crew behind the scenes, ndokuti it's bye for now. Ngatisangane mu video clip rinotera. Kana ungosota subscribe, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any exciting content uploaded like this one. Bye.